Good morning to all of you. I hope I am audible. Am I audible properly? Okay, so in today's class we are going to start with the unit 1.1 of Socio-Cultural Anthropology. So you know very well that Socio-Cultural Anthropology is part of the paper 1 and from today onward we are going to start with the same. So anthropology UPSC syllabus is being divided into two parts, paper 1 and paper 2. One more thing I had asked you that you need to prepare a proper notebook. So I hope you must be having the proper notebook, and along with the notebook you must be having the colorful pen. So the first thing you need to do, that mention there on the first page UPSC syllabus paper 1, paper 2. Write down for paper 1 socio-culture anthropology, physical or biological anthropology. For paper 2 Indian archaeology, Indian anthropology and tribal India. Okay, so fast do this. Write down on the first page the in the same way anthropology UPSC syllabus paper 1, paper 2. Are you done? Okay, so after that let me first explain you the paper 1. So the paper 1 is like 33% of the total syllabus is about the socio-cultural anthropology, and in this part socio-cultural anthropology is constituting from the unit 1.1 to 1.3, then unit 2 to 8. Fine. So here I am mentioning the units. So the first unit is unit 1.1 to 1.3. So first is the unit 1.1 to 1.3, then is the unit 2.1 to 2.5, and then unit 3 to 6. These are the three parts that we have to cover up. Now among these three parts, like there is unit 7 and 8 also. So among these, this one unit is being considered as the soul of the socio-culture anthropology. Because in this unit we are having the culture, the marriage, the family, like everything that we have to study to understand the socio-cultural part. This is something that we have to study. Now the unit 6, that is also anthropological theory. This is basically called as the body of the socio-culture anthropology. So I hope you can understand clearly. So from this perspective you can understand. I am not audible properly. ठीक है? Okay. Just wait for a while. Audible, properly audible. Okay. Now, moving forward, let me provide you the importance for the socio-culture anthropology. So this part, socio-culture anthropology, is very important. Important in terms of like how many questions being asked by the UPSC. So in the year 2024, UPSC has asked the 11 questions. Deliberately, I am not adding here 2025. The reason being, once we are done with the socio-culture anthropology, we would be taking the 2025 question to check ourselves. So kindly I would ask you, do not see the 2025 paper. This is something in terms of a promise you have to give me. So 2025 paper we would be doing once we are done with all these part of social culture anthropology. So separately I would be extracting the questions from social culture anthropology, and we would be doing that to check ourselves that we are doing in the right direction or not. So we should be having something for the evaluation. Okay, fine. So in the 2025, that's why I'm here deliberately, I'm not telling you. In the 2024, 11 question, 23, 11 question, 2022, 12 question, and 2021, 14, and 2028. So these are the questions being asked by the UPSC, especially from the socio-culture anthropology part. So in each and every question paper, there are 28 questions. Out of those 28 questions, you have to choose 19 questions. So in the optional paper, there is a choice. So you have to choose the 19 questions, and let me tell you, out of those 28 questions, 11 questions are coming from the socio-culture anthropology, which means that this part is very important. Why? Because physical anthropology as well as the archaeological anthropology, and let us suppose the question from socio-culture anthropology, they are doable. I mean, there is not something like you don't know, and there is not something that you are not able to cover. So this is something which is doable. So you can do it. Fine. Okay. So write it down also in your paper, in your notebook. Mention the importance of socio-culture anthropology. Mention 2025, but do not write the questions and mention it like this. Okay. Do it. And once done with the same, give a thumbs up. Then I will proceed. And done? Okay. Great. Now let's see the UPSC syllabus. So the UPSC syllabus from the unit 1.1 till the unit 8. This is the syllabus of the UPSC is basically being provided. And in the UPSC syllabus, here you can understand the one unit 1.1. Just wait for a while. Okay, so unit 1.1 meaning, scope and development of anthropology, 1.2 relationship with other discipline, 1.3 main branches of anthropology, their scope as well as their relevance. This is the first part, unit 1.1 to 1.3. More or less, like for sure there would be one question from this part, and UPSC may ask two questions also, one a 15 marker question, one a 10 marker question. So combinedly these units, they would be around 25 marks, or if I have to stress 30 marks. So you can get 25 to, like you can expect 25 to 30 mark question from this part. Fine. Okay, one 15 marker or one 10 marker. Minimum there may be one 15 marker. So this is the like 15 to 25, that could be the basic range for this part. Now next, the unit 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4 and 2.5. This is also again very important, and from here you can expect questions which would be 20 marker, the question which would be 15 marker and 10 marker. So from here you can clearly expect that there may be like 40 to 50 marks you can get, like you can expect the questions around 40 to 50 marks from this part. Fine. Okay. Then there is unit 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So unit 6 again very important, as I have told you, this is the body of the socio-culture anthropology. So you will find out the overlapping of this unit with this part also. Okay. So as soon as we will start doing it, you will be able to understand about it. Fine. Okay. And we are basically going to do the same here. Fine. So this is the whole syllabus of UPSC for socio-culture anthropology. So on the first page, then mention it, and with this part what you need to do, create these boxes like this. Okay. So I am giving you time Don't hurry. Write UPSC syllabus, socio-culture anthropology, and then mention it there. Okay, done with this part. Then I'm going to change the slide. Write it down. Hanji, done? Done with the slide? Hanji, done with the part? Shall we proceed further? Okay, great. So what you need to do, you just need to mark this. Once we are done with the unit, you need to mark so that you will get to know which one we are doing, which we are left with, and you will get clarity. Why? Because many of the students, they don't even know what they are doing, how they are doing it. So that's why they have to complete it. Okay. So now let's start with the first unit, the meaning, scope and development of anthropology. So this is the unit 1.1. So the unit 1.1, that is basically related to the meaning, scope and development of anthropology. So it is going to be introduction of the anthropology, where you need to understand that anthropology stands for what is this subject, how it is being constituted in terms of a scope, and how it is developing over a period of time. So this is what you need to know. Now, in this unit 1.1, what we are going to do, I am here going to provide you something on the slide. Until and unless I am asking you to write it down, you are not supposed to write anything. Either I will dictate, or either I will basically like either I will dictate, or either I will let you know that you have to write it down, or you have to just follow my instructions. This is the only thing that I wanted to tell you. So do this thing, and do not prepare the running notes. We are going to prepare a full structured note. So kindly do not write anything here and there. Now let us suppose if you feel that you are having a habit to write it down something along with when I am speaking. So do one thing. If you are having this page, so create a line here and mention something that you wanted to. Okay, but I will ask you to prepare the structured note in this format. Fine? Okay. Now, let's start with the first part, that is the unit 1.1 meaning, scope and development. So, in this part, meaning, scope and development, these are the pointers that we are going to cover up. And this is what the syllabus is constituting. One part the meaning, second part the scope, and the third part the development. So, in the meaning of anthropology, we are going to cover up introduction, meaning, definition, what is the role of the anthropologist and what is the nature of anthropologist. Means how anthropology, like what kind of features anthropology is contributing, what kind of role it is playing, what is the significance. So, all these points could be covered under this heading, the nature of anthropology. Fine. So, these are the kind of pointer for us to cover up the syllabus, and these pointer later on would help you us for the revision. Now, let me tell you, there are some students who are once done with their syllabus, but they are not done with it in a structured manner. They used to feel in a chaos here and there. But as I have told you, the way I am going to teach you is going to be the way even after the classes, you would be self-sufficient. One or two directions only, I would even make you self-sufficient so that you can extract from the current affair what is important, what is not important. If you are reading newspaper, if you are not reading newspaper, you are relying upon the magazine. So how we can extract something for anthropology, how we can use it, and how anthropological examples could be used for the case studies. Fine. So now just follow the process. Just trust, have the trust. Okay. So now create this table. One more thing, I would ask you to create this table in one page only. No one is going to write it down like this on one page, this on second page, this on third page. No. The rule is this: prepare it in this format only and prepare it on one single page only. Okay. So prepare it. Here again I am telling you meaning of anthropology, introduction, meaning, definition, role of anthropologist, nature of anthropology. Okay. So write it down. On the scope of anthropology, there are two things being written. One is the basic introduction, next one is the different scope. So in the different scope, we are going to cover up the socio-cultural aspect, the biological aspect, we are going to cover up the socio-cultural anthropology, biological anthropology, we are going to cover the archaeological aspect, and we are going to cover linguistic aspect. Okay, so these are the aspect, different scope we are going to cover up. Next, in the development of anthropology, we are going to cover the name of the anthropologist and their book name, the stages of the development, different views on the origin of anthropology, what are the reason for the slow growth, and at last we are going to cover up the conclusion. So this is something we are going to cover up under the unit 1.1. So write it down. Hanji, done? Done? Okay, great. Now let's start with the first part. Okay, now you are done with this index. So flip the page. On the next page, write down heading part 1. Meaning of anthropology. And in the meaning of anthropology, write down first one, introduction. Okay, just write down the introduction. Now try to understand. When I'm saying anthropology, it means I'm going to talk about two words. So those two words, they are basically the study. Anthro means the human. So for the word anthropology, I'm going to basically study about the human being. Now, human being, they are something which could be called as a mystery. The reason being, because as soon as the life started conceptualizing on the earth, human, they are not the only one who originated. There were so many other species. Even human, they were not the first one. I hope you all aware of the thing. Later on, humans evolved. And now we can find out the variations among human. Like the people from the Africa, people from Asia, Australia, India, even in India, we are having different races. So from this perspective, you can easily understand that anthropology means the study of the human. Why we feel the need to study the human? Because human being, they evolved from the animal instinct to the civilized one. Like earlier, we were like animals only. We were walking on the 4 feet. Later on, we started standing on the 2 feet. Later on, we started developing our mind. We started using the things. There is invention of fire. Then people, they started living in the groups. Then they started having the family. Then they started having the division of labor. Then they started celebrating the festivals. There is a kind of a chain. So this chain means what? This chain means the study of the human being. Now in the same way, anthropology is helping us to study. It is helping us to study how the humans, they begin. How they have developed over the time. Means how the human evolution was there on the earth. How the human, they developed over time, and what makes them human. Why they are different from animals. See, we are different from animals because we are having different aspects of life. Aspects of life in terms of somewhere we are somewhere we are developing the new activities, new feature inventing. Like for example, now Elon Musk is creating a new aspect for the human being. Let me tell you, earlier what we were doing, Earlier we were having the television, TV or electronics or appliances. We used to switch them and then we are able to operate them. Later on, we started getting the remote. Later on, we started installing the remote in our mobile phone. Later on, we started having the connection with the Alexa or something, like everything is connected. Now, Elon Musk is basically developing a machinery which is going to attach here in your brain. As soon as your brain would think about that I should change the channel, automatically it will change the channel. You don't even need to order someone that Alexa, please change the channel for me. So this is something that Elon Musk is developing. Don't know that it would be conceptualized in the same way or not, it would be implemented in the same way or not, but the thing is that anthropology is interesting study of the human being, means how they are changing over time. So in the same way, anthropology is helping us to create a bridge between earlier how we were like, we were like animals. Animals, basically you would say the monkeys. So monkeys, they are considered as our ancestors. So how from the monkeys it basically started and how it is basically being developed. How it is basically being developed over a period of time. So this is what we need to understand. Anthropology is what? It is the study of the historic time period to the present day society. So if you have to explain simply about the anthropology, you would say anthropology is study of the origin, of the development, of the nature of human species. And with this knowledge, we are trying to understand the human being in different fields, and we are trying to understand the complete life way. So this is something that we are basically taking upon related to the anthropology. I hope you have understood the basic meaning of anthropology. What do we mean by anthropology? So this is the basic introduction. Anthropology is nothing but it is a systematic study of the origin, of the development, of the nature of the human being over a period of time. It is helping us to study the past, basically the historic time period, and comparing it with the present day society. So this is all we are saying related to the anthropology. Hope you can understand. Fine. So write it down now. Create first part 1 meaning of anthropology. Create the heading. Heading, see the master heading that should be written and it should be enclosed within the box. You need to highlight it. Then with the black color pen write down the introduction, and then with the blue color pen write down the basic part under introduction. So I am dictating, you just write down. Okay, so I am dictating, you just write down. Write down anthropology. Anthropology is the origin. Anthropology is the origin, development and nature of human species, and nature of human species at both prehistoric, at both prehistoric times, compared to prehistoric times, compared to present day societies, compared to present day societies. It helps in understanding, it helps in understanding the human behavior, it helps in understanding the human behavior, comma, culture, and life, in a complete way, life in a complete way. Fine. So this is basically the introduction of the anthropology. So this is not the introduction you are going to write down in your answers. Kindly try to understand. This is not the introduction you are supposed to write as part of your answer. No. This is the introduction of the topic. This is the introduction to understand the topic and to remember the key point. Fine. So I will let you know how to write the introduction also. Okay. Now, next part, the meaning of anthropology. So this is basically the second heading. Okay, so the second heading, which is basically saying the meaning of anthropology. So meaning of anthropology is simply, anthropology is a word being divided into two parts. One part considered as anthropos, another part called as the logos. So anthropos means the human beings, logos means the study. So anthropology in terms of the subject, it is basically stands for study of humankind or humanity. From which perspective? From scientific perspective. Why? Because we are trying to understand how it evolved, human anatomy, the basic structure, the scientific biological aspect. But we are trying to understand how this biological aspect evolved over a period of time in terms of humanities. So where we are going to understand the human aspect, culture, the civilization, how they started developing family, how they determine these are the rules for the marriages, everything in terms of humanities. And at last, we are trying to understand a connection between the past society and the present day society and how we are able to do that through the research. So we are excavating, we are getting different samples, we are exploring them. So all is part of the research. So in terms of a basic meaning of anthropology, you just need to write down anthropology is being taken from the two words anthropos and the logos. Anthropos stands for the human being, logos stands for the study, and combinedly both are called as the study of humanity. And this study of humanity through the anthropology helping to understand the human being from the scientific perspective in a humanistic nature with lots of research aptitude. Fine. So this is the basic meaning of anthropology. So you just do one thing, prepare this diagram as it is under the heading meaning of anthropology, and you need to understand, remember this also. And mention it, frame it in the same way. Done. Anji, shall I proceed further? Done with this page? Okay, great. Now, let's see. We are done with the introduction. Yes, we are done with the meaning. Yes. Now, let's focus upon the next part, that is the definition. So, the introduction meaning, this seems to be very easy. The difficult part is about the definition of the anthropology. Okay, so the first definition is being provided by the Jacob and Stern. See, what is the rule for the definition? One single definition you have to remember with the name of the anthropologist and complete definition. See, no one is going to completely match that you are writing completely, like no one is going to see that you are writing is, the, of. See, what you need to do, you just need to understand the essence, like what this anthropologist is saying. You cannot change their way. Like for example, if you're writing it down that Herzkovich said that the physical, social and cultural development, then it's going to wrong. But if you are having the theme, you are just changing or transforming the way of mentioning it, then we can basically think upon it. Fine. So the definition of anthropology, the first part as per the Jacob and Stern. So Jacob and Stern mention anthropology is the scientific study of three aspects. One, the physical, another one, the social, another one, the cultural development and behavior of the human being since their appearance on this earth. This is the simple basic definition provided by the Jacob and Stern. This is what that you need to write down. Okay, so mention completely first definition as per Jacob and Stern and mention this. Do not write this now. First mention this and update me, then we are going to proceed further. Then, okay. See, now, Jacob and Stern, he was the earliest anthropologist who explained about the anthropology. He basically introduced the anthropology. He said that you are unaware of this field of subject, and this subject is something that is telling us about the human being. Fine. So, Jacob and Stern, he said that when you are trying to understand about the human being, so in the back of your mind, you should have three parameters to understand it. So, what he said, okay, one more thing, when I was mentioning you, write the name of anthropologist with the green color pen. Wherever I am using the name of any anthropologist, mention that name with the green color pen. Okay, otherwise write down the complete definition with the blue color pen. Write down examples with the red color pen. So this is the color coding that I am providing you. Heading with the black, the detail with the blue, anthropologist name with the green and example with the red. Okay, so here when I am mentioning as per Jacob and Stern, so what he did, he basically said that anthropology, so he basically mentioned that anthropology is being divided into three parts. Means whenever you have to study about anthropology, this is what you need to study from three perspectives. First, he said that we need to understand it from biological perspective. That biological perspective is going to tell us So the first one is biological. Okay, so when Jacobin's son, he was explaining his definition, he mentioned Devdutt is saying, ma'am, notes milenge. Which notes you are saying, Devdutt? See, as a part of the course, you will get these PPTs, annotated PPTs that I am framing here in the board now. You will get it. So there is kind of a Google Drive link. I will share the same, and where you can find out all the PPTs. So this is what you will get. Second, you will get the hard copy notes. So the paper 1, paper 2, and the 8 years old PYQ book. So these three things you will get. In the class, I am dictating, you need to prepare the notes along with me, and these are going to be your one-stop solution. Fine. So this is the basic plan. Here also I am going to add on the things. So this is what you will get as a part of this program. Okay, fine. So in the biological aspect, like we were doing the biology, so when the Jacobin's turn, he was explaining about the anthropology, he said that anthropology is to understand the human being from biological perspective, means to understand about the human evolution, to understand about the human genetics, to understand about their physical characteristics, like how the human being, like how their eye shape is, why in the high altitude their chest size is bigger, why their head size is bigger. So this is what we are basically trying to study, and we are also trying to study in terms of a growth and development, means how they are growing, how their development is being there. So this is what we need to study. So here in the anthropological aspect, in the biology, we are, as per the Jacob and Stern, he was saying that human being, they need to be understand from the human evolution perspective. We need to study them from the perspective of their genetics. We need to study them in terms of their physical characteristics. Hanji, write it down along with me. And their growth and development. Now, Jacob and Stern said that once you are aware of the human being from the biological perspective, then we have to understand them from a social perspective. Social means in terms of their culture. So the next aspect about the human being we have to understand is their social aspect. And in the social aspect, we have to study the concept of their culture. We have to study the part of like which society they are part of. Are they framing any society or not? Are they engaged in the marital bond? Do they create permanent cohesion, permanent habitation? Do they create the family system? And when they are having the family system, how their family is running? Like, for example, if you know, okay, you just tell me, in a joint family system, who's the one considered as the decision maker? Tell me, if you are part of a joint family system, tell me who's the one considered as the decision maker. The eldest means the male or the female. So what you need to answer, like maybe the grandfather or maybe the father or maybe the eldest brother of their family, like eldest uncle or someone. So in this way, there is a proper political organization in the society. So there is a proper political organization in the society, and this political organization is maintaining it. Fine. So this is what he said about the social development. He said once human being, they started evolving biologically, then they started thinking upon creating their families. And when, as soon as they started creating families, so many other things attached together and they also started developing. This is what he explained. And then in the social aspect, as we started developing it, he said from the social aspect, we started developing a cultural aspect. And so in this cultural aspect, he was talking about the language. He was talking about the custom. He was talking about the communication pattern, like what kind of communication pattern we are having. See, in today's time period, our communication pattern is completely disturbed. Why it is completely disturbed? Because now even if we are sitting with the close family members, still we are not communicating. We are just using the mobile phone. I mean, now we are communicating in terms of like now, like when the WhatsApp was there now, so people, they were chatting over the WhatsApp. And before the WhatsApp, there was normal messages. People used to chat through the messages, even if they cannot call or call. Now people are having the unlimited call availability. They are just buying for the data pack. And when they are having the data pack, they are not chatting with anyone. They are not even chatting through the Insta, through the WhatsApp or through the Facebook. They are just doing one thing, scrolling, scrolling and scrolling. This is the kind of mindset that has been changed. Means every single time our language, our custom, our lifestyle, our communication pattern is changing. And this is what Jacob and Stern said. See, let me explain you. The 2024 year, it was the year of startups. The 2025 year, it was the year of the content creation. Like in the 2025, many of the people, they started creating the content. Now also people are doing the same. I am also thinking to do the same. Okay, so jokes apart, in the 2026, there is going to be the time period. Now is the time period of the AI agent. In everyday life, we must be using single one AI agent. Fine. In the year 2027, the things will change. And there would be a time period when more of the people, they would be engaged into the primary activities. Like now, people don't like the corporate jobs. They are doing it. But entry level corporate job, people are not liking it. They are quitting the same. They are going back to their areas, doing the farming activities. All these things, they are changing. Why? Because change is the only constant. And this is what Jacob and Stern said, that there is a continuous pattern of study where your evolution changed through your family system, changed in your behavioral pattern, and that's how we are changing. So here, last part, I would be writing down behavioral pattern. Okay, so this is the basic explanation of the definition given by the Jacob and Stern. Fine? Okay, now, if you have to write down definition, you will be mentioning this definition. Okay, why I explained it so elaboratively. For definition, do not mention it. Do not draw it. Okay, now, prepare this. Mention here, where you are mentioning it now, with a red color pen. Use this diagram plus explanation to answer the question anthropology is science. Write it down. Just write it down. Quite possible now you are not able to understand it, but later on, along with me, when you will be studying more and more, you will get to know where you can use this. In the year 2025 itself, there was one question. In the unit 1.2 also, there is a point like anthropology, is it a science or is it humanity? And in the unit 7 also, we are going to study about culture, language, communication. There also, you need to mention about these aspects, that it is a scientific study of communication. So mention this with a red color pen here for this diagram. Now again I am repeating, if you have to simply write down the definition, remember this. I am explaining it further, like later on I will, later on along with me you will understand. Your mind will work accordingly, that here I can use it, here I can't use it. See, the first thing that you have to do for anthropologists, your study should be sorted. No paragraph based studies, no studies or everything at one place. Like everything should be scattered, like it should be scattered in a consolidated form. Like, you know, this part related to this unit, this part related to this unit, this is the series I'm doing it. So that kind of clarity should be here in your mind. Fine? Done with the part? Okay. So next, write down the second definition. Now you would ask me, ma'am, do we need to write down two definition in any answer? My answer for the question would be no. You just need to mention one single definition. Why I am giving you more than one? See, we don't know what kind of question UPSC will ask. We cannot keep the same definition. Here in this definition, he was talking about something else. He was talking about the measurement of human being. So let us suppose there was one question related to this part. Quite possible we may need it. Now you would ask me, ma'am, we need to remember all definition. My answer again would be no. Line to line, remember only one definition. Other definition you can just remember, or you can just read or can keep it. I will later, later on, I will let you know where you can use it. So write down second definition. Again, Hertzkovit, this name with the green color pen, write down this with the blue color pen. So as per Hertzkovit, anthropology may be defined as the measurement of the human being. Measurement of the human being. Done with this part now? Now write it down this. As per Hertzkovit, anthropology may be defined as the measurement of human being. Okay, so we are basically done with the basic definition. After that, I am not going to provide you more definitions. Later on, like in the unit 2.1, I will be giving you 10 definition. Here, this much is sufficient. This unit is not that much technical. Okay. Now, you know very well that we are following this part to complete. So, we are done with the introduction, we are done with the meaning, we are done with the definition also. Let's move forward to the next part, that is the role of anthropologist. Okay. So the first third, like it's a fourth heading, role of anthropologist. Create the heading role of anthropologist, and there mention the first anthropologist, that is the Aristotle. So Aristotle, he was a very great teacher and he was the student of the Plato. He studied various fields. He studied the biology, the astronomy, the botany, the philosophy and the logic. And he create a basic like ground as to make us understand the nature of the anthropology. He basically explained about that anthropology is a kind of a subject where it lies upon the shoulder of a person. Like for example, I have to study, like I want to know about the culture. Now let us suppose, okay, just tell me any three observation in terms of a comparison you are having related to the Western culture. Okay, Indian culture, Western culture, tell me any three observation in terms of a difference. Okay, first you tell me. Anji, tell me any three observation in terms of a comparison with the Western culture. Anji, tell me fast. See, how you can compare with the Western culture, maybe based upon the eating pattern, maybe based upon their clothing pattern, maybe based upon their family system, their marriage pattern. Okay, Indian, they were having the traditional attire. Okay, the Western attire, we already know. Okay, fine. Other than this, Anji, you all have to answer. See, your answers, they are going to be based upon your interpretation. Like, some may compare based upon the food habits, some may compare based upon the family system, some may compare based upon the marriage pattern, and some may compare based upon their clothing pattern, their way of speaking, their way of greeting, their way of eating, everything like that. That there could be a differences related to the part. Now you need to understand the same thing Aristotle said. Aristotle, he said that anthropology itself, it doesn't have any meaning. Anthropology exists because of the anthropologist, and we are studying the anthropology from the perspective of anthropologist only, because we consider anthropologist as the gossiper. Why they are called as gossiper? Because they are gossiping. Means, let us suppose if you are talking about any another human being, we consider it as a gossip. So he said that because in anthropology your subject of study is the human being itself, so therefore you are studying about a human being, you are called as a gossiper. And that's how he said that anthropologist, it depends upon the interpretation of the person who's doing the gossip, because it revolves around us only. So this is the Aristotle, he said about it. Exactly, the food habits. Fine. So now the pattern, the interpretation, it depends. The interpretation is different. So the same thing Aristotle said, he considered anthropologists were the person who study as the gossiper who talk about himself, and their gossips, it revolved around themselves itself. Okay, fine. So write down the heading, the role of anthropologist, and there mention the first one, Aristotle. and and write down which is written here. Aristotle considered anthropologist the gossiper who talks about himself, and the gossip revolves around the men. And then done with the same. Shall I proceed further? Okay. Now, the next role of the anthropologist, where we are going to study about the University of Germany. So the University of Germany, they explain that anthropology is nothing but it is a systematic study of man in terms of a physical and a moral well-being. Means one we are going to study about the physical aspect, another one we are going to study about the moral aspect. The physical aspect is saying that we have to understand the biological condition of the man, whereas the moral aspect is saying that we have to believe, we should be having some beliefs, some moral, some ethics, some ideals of the mankind, and that's how we are explaining about the human being. Like for example, in the like for example, in terms of a basic thing, see, earlier in India, even now also, this is the thing that we used to say, Atithi Devo Bhava. So this is the thing that we are saying. Fine. So this is the thing that we are saying, Atithi Devo Bhava. Means guest. They are like God for us. So like we used to offer the bestest possible with us to the God, the same we should behave with the guest also. Now in the earlier time period, the people, they were going from one area to another area, and they want a stay, they want some food. So the door of every house is open for them, and the people, they are very grateful also to host them. But then the Kalyug appears, and then the people, they stop relying upon each other. Now let us suppose you are going somewhere, so first you have to think upon that I should be having a place to stay there. People, they are also thinking that the place is safer or not. So there are so many different things. People are going to Airbnb, they are also affected from them. Like there are multiple things related to the same. But you will wonder, now also there is one village in the Karnataka, Matur village. So the Matur village, in their village there is no guest home, there is no PG home, nothing. Anyone, if they are coming in their area, so this village, Matur village of Karnataka, is the only Sanskrit village in India where the people, they are talking with each other in the Sanskrit, where the people, they are teaching in the Sanskrit, and the normal language for them is Sanskrit. And in their area there is no guest house, nothing. If someone is coming to visit their place, they are hosting them, and they are making this believe Atiti Devo Bhava true in the modern time itself. So here we can understand that the human being morally could be explained with the help of the belief system. They could be explained based upon the morals. It could be explained in terms of the ethics, the ideals of the mankind. I mean, what kind of ethics they are having. Like for example, in India, ethics, that we are having some certain ethics. We should not tell a lie. We should not deceive someone. So these are the ethics. Morals, like ethics, they are the basic guidelines. Moral means something that you feel, that you follow. So here in the moral aspect, we are also going to add on the guidelines which are talking about the ethical aspect, ethical part. Fine. So that's what you can understand. The University of Germany, they mention that anthropology is a word which we can understand from two perspectives, physical aspect as well as the moral aspect. Okay. So create this in the same format. हाँ जी, done? Okay, okay. I will explain, Grace. I will explain first, mention it. हाँ जी, done? Now, the third anthropologist that we have to do is the E.B. Taylor. So what the E.B. Taylor said, see, E.B. Taylor, he was a classical evolutionist, and later on we are going to study so much in detail about the E.B. Taylor, because E.B. Taylor is the one which is a very important anthropologist, and he was called as the classical evolutionist. Because this anthropologist, he studied about the human being, he studied about the culture. He was the one who said that culture evolved through a unilinear system, means culture evolved through a stage, and all the culture they evolved through the same stage. This is what he said. So he said that the study of the old remains of the people, means old remains the like the kind of bones, the tools, technique we are excavating, we are finding, these are called as the old remains. And there are some physical feature, races, languages, customs, practices of the primitive people. So all these things, they are basically part of what? All these things, they are part of the E.B. Taylor, what he's explained. Now, the question that Grace is asking, ma'am, how we are going to mention it in terms of a role of anthropologist, like why? See, there is not going to be any certain question which would ask you that explain the role of anthropologist. So no need to worry about it. So in terms of the role of anthropologist, what you need to do, you just need to mention the name of anthropologist. There I am providing you value addition material. Now let us suppose there is any question which is saying that anthropology, it is diverse in nature, explain an anthropological perspective. So let us suppose this is the question. So that's why I am providing you diverse views. So there is no any certain question. Now let's talk about, you would be very much confident about the Aristotle, because he was anthropologist, he mentioned about it. You would be comfortable about the E.B. Taylor, but not about the University of Germany. See, in terms of University of Germany, you have to understand this university, they were having a department of anthropology, and that department of anthropology was studying about it, and that department of anthropology is explained that there is a physical aspect, there is a moral aspect, and in terms of physical and moral aspect, they explained about it. So this is what we are having. Okay, now are you able to understand, Grace? Okay, great. So mention the definition given by the E.B. Taylor, and you write it down, the definition or the explanation given by the E.B. Taylor. Mention it. Any done? Okay. Now, the E.B. Taylor, he basically provided his book Primitive Culture in the year 1871. And in this book, Primitive Culture, he explained about the basic aspect of culture that we are going to study in the unit 2.1. So, remember this book again, I am going to show you the same when we would be doing the unit 2.1 culture. Okay. Now, we are done with the role of anthropologist also. So, again, let's mark the same. So we are done with the introduction, meaning, definition and the role of anthropologist. In the introduction, we were done with the basic aspect. In the meaning, explained about the two word definition, two definition, Jacob and Stern Herskovit. In the role of anthropologist, we are done with the three aspect. The Aristotle, we explained about the University of Germany and E.B. Taylor. Now, let's talk about the nature of anthropology. Okay. So, next heading, that is basically the nature of anthropology. So, in the nature of anthropology, the first part that we can take upon is the first point, to study the human being as a whole. This is the nature of anthropology. Means anthropology is helping us to study human being from all the aspects. Why? Because in the anthropology, we are trying to understand them, first their biology. We are trying to understand them from the previous time period like ancient society, connecting them with the present day society. We are studying them biologically, then trying to understand about their culture, their family system, and then we are going to study about their behavioral pattern over a period of time, how it is basically changing, how it is evolving. So from this perspective, we can understand that people, by looking at all the aspect, of their life, like their body, their culture, their history, their society, everything at one place. So here we are trying to understand them completely. What is their religion? What is their livelihood? What is their food pattern? We are trying to connect everything. Now, for example, let us suppose we are doing a case study of a Himalayan village. Fine. So, in the Himalayan village, the people, they are living in a higher altitude. So, the transportation going to be difficult. So, more or less, because transportation is, opportunities are less and they are living in a remote areas. So, we can understand, because they are living in a remote area, so we can understand that they must be having some sort of like their food habits, their health, their religion, the farming, they are not completely in the same way. I mean, it's going to be different. Like, for example, they are living in a Himalayan village. So, connectivity is less. So, they must be self-sufficient. So, their farming is also going to be subsistence farming. What is subsistence farming? Means you are doing farming, something for you. Fine. So, something for you. Okay. Now, then we are trying to explore their religions. Their religion is also going to be something which is different. They must be having some local god, they must be having some local traditions, they must be having a local pattern, local habits, something which is available at their own place. So, in terms of the nature of anthropology, the first thing you can understand, anthropology means to understand the human being as a whole. Whole means everything about their biology, about their religion, their language, their communication pattern, their food habits, their life way. So, this is the first point we are having. Now, second point, comparing the culture across the world. Means this involves comparing how the different culture they live, they believe, they behave, to find out their similarities as well as their differences. Means, for example, if we are comparing the wedding traditions that is here in the rural Kenyas and the tribal group in the northeastern India, we can find out that there is a similarities also, there are differences also. Means more or less, tribal people, they are the original inhabitant, so they are not having modern technique, they are not having any modern ways, so their way is different from the this perspective. So that's what you can understand completely. Fine. So write down, create the heading. Fifth heading, I think it is nature of anthropology, and then write down the first point. Write down first point, to study human being as a whole. To study human being as a whole. To study human being as a whole. Then write down, it helps in it helps in understanding the human beings. It helps in understanding the human beings. It helps in understanding the human beings from all aspects. From all aspects. It helps in understanding the human being from all aspects of their life. So the first one is body, second one culture, third one history, fourth one society. Okay, so write down like this, bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4. Body, culture, history, society. Okay, then write down example. And I told you example with a red color pen. So write down in terms of example. Himalayan village case study. Himalayan village case study. Okay, so this much is sufficient. Now write down the second point. So here Himalayan village case study, then write down the second point. Comparing cultures across the world. Comparing cultures across the world. Write down compare to related cultures, comparing to related cultures to find out their similarities and differences. To find out their similarities and differences. Then write down example. Comparing wedding traditions of Kenya and tribal groups in Northeast India. And tribal groups in Northeast India. In Northeast India. Now, next is the third one. The historical perspective. Fourth one, the system and the process approach. So, first write down the third one, historical perspective. See, in terms of the historical perspective, we are again talking about the same thing we did in the definition itself, or basically in the introduction, that anthropology means what? To study about the past societies. So here in the historical perspective, this is the nature of anthropology, that it is going to study about the past societies. So So in the past society, we may be excavating, we are exploring the date, the age, like we were having the different carbon dating method, other radiometric methods. With the help of this, we are trying to find out the age of that particular bone, of a particular artifact or something. So that's what we are finding out. So historical perspective is telling us that in the previous time period, what kind of traditions we were having, how the time is changing. They were looking at how the societies, economies, they are developing. Like for example, Indus Valley civilization. So you all must be aware of Indus Valley civilization, how it evolved over a period of time. Like it was an urban system. Because we were excavating, so we basically find out the largest human habitation at the Rakhi Gadi. That was the largest site of the Rakhi Gadi found in the Haryana is the largest site of the Indus Valley civilization. So that's what you can understand. Historical perspective is telling us, it is helping us to know about the different previous time period and their societies. Okay. Now next is the system and the process approach. System and process approach means what? It is telling us how there are different part of the society, they are changing. Because there was a system, now it's changing. As I told you earlier, we were connected with each other. Now we started isolating ourselves. Like we like to be alone in a complete privacy, so that we can without any interruption can scroll. We don't even want to do the work, or sometimes we are doing work but still one of our mind is just here, so that we can scroll the reels. So this is what you can understand, that system and the process approach is telling us that the society, their way of work, their religion, their education, everything is changing. It is changing over a period of time. Now what could be the example that we can have? Means studying how the mobile phone, they are changing the social behavior in the tribal youth communities. Means in the tribal youth communities, how it is changing. How it is, like tribal youth, they are now earlier connected with the nature. Now they are again using the mobile phone, having the same habits the other are having. Okay. So you write down the third one, the historical perspective. Historical perspective. Write down this approach. This approach studies. This approach studies this approach studies how the societies. This approach studies how the societies have changed over time. Have changed over time. Full stop. Write down example. Example. Study of IVC, Indus Valley Civilization. Study of IVC, Indus Valley Civilization. Okay. Next, write down the fourth one, system and the process approach. Write down, it focuses on. Write down, it focuses on how the different part of society. It focuses on how the different part of the society interacts, interacts, and how the change is happening. How the change is happening. Okay, now write down example. Write down change in social behavior, change in social behavior due to social media, change in social behavior due to social media. हाँ जी, done? Okay. Now, next part. The fifth one, the fifth nature, the case study method. So, the case study method, this is about careful studying a single community so that we can understand it, what makes it unique. Like for example, every single community, they are having different perspective of life. They are having different way of marriages. Like when we would be doing the unit 2.3 marriage, I would be showing you the case studies. I would be showing you the documentaries of whom? Of the Toda tribe. So this Toda tribe, they are having polyandry. What do we mean by polyandry? Means there is a single female, and single female, she is getting married with 2 or 3 male. Means one wife, 2 to 3 husband. This is the case we can find out the Toda tribe. I mean, you would be wonder that this is something very unique. So the anthropology is having this nature. Means we would be like having something very different, and we are going to study about it. We are going to find it out that why it is important to understand or study a certain community, why we need to study them, why it is important to study them. So that's what we are going to understand here in the case study method. Means every single community is unique. So we have to take them as a case, and then we have to study them to know about them. Next is the sixth one, the amic and the etic approach. Means if you want to study about anthropology, you have to have these two approaches. One is the amic approach. Amic approach is called as insider view. Means when you are part of a culture or trying to part of a culture, and then being within the culture, you are trying to see from 360 dimensions. Etic approach means as an observer, you are out of the culture, you are just observing, and then you are creating the point of view. So for example, if you are like celebrating the if you are a Hindu and you are celebrating the Diwali, so Diwali is being celebrated at your own place. You should know about what are the essential things we require, how we used to do the puja, what is the basic thing. So this is basically called as what? Amic approach. Okay. Now next part is etic approach. Now you are basically a Hindu, so you are still celebrating the Christmas. So Christmas, how, like what is the definition of Christmas for you? You are not, you don't aware, like you are not aware of the things to be done in the Christmas party or Christmas thing. So you are just aware of that you will be joining in a cafe or something. There is so much of decoration. There is one Santa Claus will provide the gift to you. So these are the things that we used to say. Okay. Now what we can explain in terms of example. So example is saying that amic approach could be like why tribal group, they believe in a sacred forest. Etic approach is there is a belief that we are helping them to preserve their biodiversity, because tribal are the one who are living in the forest region. So this is what the example, we can write it down. Okay. So mention the next point, the fifth point, the case study method. Write down the fifth one, the case study method. Write down every community and society, every community and society is unique is unique to study, is unique to study. Write down example. Toda tribe, polyandry marriage. Toda tribe, polyandry marriage. Okay, no need to explain for polyandry, single wife and multiple husband. Later on, polyandry would be a very common word for you. Now maybe different word, but later on it would be very common word for you. Okay, so don't worry for the same. Here mention next example, buffalo worship in the Nilgiris. Buffalo worship in the Nilgiri hills. Okay, next write down the sixth one, emic and the etic approach. For emic approach, write down understanding within the culture. For emic, just write down understanding within the culture. And for etic approach, write down as an outsider. As an outsider. Okay, so in terms of example, write down emic means as part of tribal group, and for etic write down being outsider. Okay, so that's what we are basically done with the first part, the meaning of anthropology. Hanji, do you have any doubt from this part? If you are having any doubt from this part, you can ask for. Let me know your doubts. And yes or no, then I am going to proceed further. Let me know if you are having any sort of doubt. Clear? Everything clear? Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, next part is in terms of the scope of anthropology. So, in the scope of anthropology, we are having basically this scope. Here in this part, now again let me explain you. Scope of anthropology is basically part of the unit 1.3. So, when I would be explaining the unit 1.3, then I will explain the scope of anthropology in a detailed manner here in today's class, so that you will have a link between the scope of anthropology and the other part. What I am doing is, I am providing you here a diagram which would help you to understand the basic scope. I mean, what do we mean by the scope? How it is basically being dealt with. Fine? Okay. Now, anthropology, as you know already, anthropology is a kind of a subject which is helping you to understand about the society. It is helping you to understand about the human being. It is helping you to get the details about how the life is basically being developed. Fine. So, in this part, what we are going to do is, in this part, we are basically going to explain about the how the anthropology as a part of the society it basically dealt with. I mean, how it is here in terms of a part. Okay. So, here in this scope, what we are going to do is, we are going to prepare a diagram this is the diagram you have to prepare for the scope, for the holism and other part. Okay, so mention about anthropology means what? Anthropology means the study of humankind. So anthropology means what? Anthropology is nothing but it is the study of humankind, and we are trying to study the human from three perspectives. Means study of humankind in terms of node, nature, origin, development. Fine. So we are going to study about it in terms of node. So by the word node, we mean the nature, origin and development. Okay, so this is what we are basically going to study. And we are going to study, okay, you need to prepare this along with me. Okay, we are trying to study this so that we can combine the various branches. Branches is the scope. So what we are going to do is we are going to combine the various branches. Which combine various branches. And what are the part that they are basically going to cover up? First is the biological anthropology or physical anthropology. Then socio-culture anthropology. Then archaeological anthropology. And at last we are having the linguistic anthropology. So in the biological anthropology, we are going to cover up the human or biological evolution, and biological variation. In the socio-culture anthropology, we are going to talk about their culture, we are going to talk about their socio-culture evolution, like how they are developing, how there is a variation, what kind of culture we are having, material culture, non-material culture. So here in the socio-culture part, we are going to add on the socio-culture evolution, material culture and non-material culture. Okay. Next is in terms of the archaeological anthropology. And in terms of the archaeological anthropology, we are basically going to talk about the fossils and artifacts and something like that. So exploring the artifacts and the fossils. Next is the linguistic anthropology. So we are trying to read the unwritten language. Unwritten language means what? There is something like if you find out the script of any another areas, you excavated something written by them. So you don't know their symbolic meaning. You don't know what those words stands for them. So that is a kind of unwritten language for you because you cannot read it, because you don't know their syllable, their grammar, their language. So study of unwritten language. Fine. And combinedly, with the help of this, we are trying to understand the human nature. So what you need to do, you need to create this to understand human nature. Human nature. This is something we are having related to this part. This is what we are going to do for the part scope of anthropology. Are you done? Later on, I will let you know where you can use this diagram and how to frame this diagram. Okay, fine. So, from this perspective, let me just give you again the view. So, we are basically done with this part also. Okay, this again we are going to do in detail along with, write down there, along with unit 1.3, so that you will get a basic idea. So combine, see I had provided you the basic introduction of all this in terms of the diagram. I will explain them in detail because it is part of the unit 1.3. Here you can see unit 1.3 main branches, their scope. So these are the 4 branches and we have to explain their scope, have to explain their relevance. So this is what we are going to do along with the unit 1.3. I hope so. In today's class, we are done with these 2 parts, meaning of anthropology and second, the scope of anthropology. Okay. Okay, in the next class, we would be studying about the last part, basically the third part. And in the next class, I'm also going to explain you how to do the answer writing. Then once we are done with this part, then we are going to study about it. Okay, now tomorrow we are not going to have class. Tomorrow I am providing you the homework. So the homework is basically, what you need to do is, you just need to analyze the 2018, 2019, 2020 3-year paper 1 of anthropology. This is the homework I am providing. So you need to analyze the 2018, 2019, 2020 paper. See, I will analyze all the PYQs in the next class. I will analyze. So the duration for the next class is going to be 2 or 30 minutes or something, because in that we are going to do the next part, this third part, and we are also going to understand how to write the answer, and then I'm also going to add upon the current affairs, or I'm also going to add upon there the PYQs. But for tomorrow, what you need to do? First, you need to create the scanned PDF of your notes that you prepared in today's class. You need to send it to me so that I will first see that you are going in the right way or not. Okay, so all the online students, you need to share it with me. Okay, then the class PPT you will get from the Google Drive link. So all the enrolled student who had basically subscribed for the course, you will get the PPTs. Okay, you must be having the book. So what you need to do, first you need to read the notes that we prepared during the class. Then you have to study the same part, the two part from your book. So you must be having the hard copy of the book, paper 1. You have to study from that part, and then you need to share your notes to me. Okay, this is the first thing you have to do. Second, your homework, 2018, 2019, 2020, these 3 years, analyzing the paper 1 and finding out the question which is either talking about meaning or the scope of anthropology or the nature of anthropology. Find out these key points and try to explore the paper. If you can find out, then let me know. This is your homework. Okay, now next class we are going to have on the Thursday. I will let you know, I will notify you separately. Okay, so we are going to have the next class. In the next class we would be completing this origin and development of anthropology. Fine. So if you are having any doubt, you can ask for. So all those students who already enrolled and those who wanted to enroll for the course, there is details available in the description box. There you can fill up the Google form. There is number available in the description box, so you can call there and you can get all the details how you can enroll for the course. So this is our Anthropology Foundation batch in the offline as well as in the online mode. Okay, so thank you so much for today. If you are again having any doubt, you can connect back with me. Okay, so thank you so much.